What is going on, guys? Winter Kills here. Welcome back to another post commentary duel video. This is a bit of a this is a match, okay? This is a match, all right? We've got Marincess TCG ready Marincess. Same list that I posted a few days ago versus your classic pure Thunder with a bit of spice. As you can see, that D shift. I guess it's not too much spice, but most builds I feel like maining that. But stand my face, pitching the D shifter. And that's going to turn off both players' graveyards until the end of the next turn. So as a Marincess player, I got to let him borrow a Link Rebo there. But as a Marincess player, I'm kind of shaking in my boots right now. If he can establish like a Colossus or a Titan, if he has a really productive turn, while being under D-Shifter, I'm probably just going to set a few back row and pass. But luckily, he's just sending Link Rebo past, getting some resources to his hand, but also making sure I have a slow turn as well because of the D-Shifter. But this TCG legal build of Marincess that I'm playing is a bit more back row heavy. You can see I got a copy of Synapse Mining in my hand, and I'm, of course, a little reluctant to use it because I don't want to discard everything to the graveyard. Even if I could, like, you know, have it get banished, not care about it, my Marincess plays would be completely stopped by that simple fact. So I'm going to pass it back to him after setting 3, and he's going to make Cyframe Lord Lambda, banishing the Matrix and D-Shifter, and summon out the Thunder Dragon Duo, and attempt to swing for 17. I'll take that to the face, and then he attempts to swing for 28. I'm going to use Dynamiscus here, because I want that card off the field. I don't want to take too much unnecessary damage as is, so debating on what I want to discard here, I'm going to discard the Foolish Burial Goods, which I was hoping to use next turn to kickstart my plays, you know, get Metalfoes Fusion to the graveyard to get an additional draw, hopefully seeing myself in some other combo pieces. I draw, but I realize I want to go back to the end phase and use Trap Trick. So I end phase Trap Trick after banishing his Dynamiscus. So I Trap Trick for Wave, banish a copy to set a copy, and then I'm going to sort of, you know, play it back here and draw for turn. Because I did want to do that. Pretty advantageous to go ahead and get that on the board already. Because I did have a copy of Wave in my hand already, but I was going to need to discard it off of Synapse Mining, as you see me do here. So I go for Blue Slug. He does have one set back row, which is a little weird. I got to kind of try and play through whatever it might be. Going to go for, no, Seahorse into Blue Slug, activate Blue Slug effect. He does have the Impermanence. But luckily, I have Engage. Almost play it in the wrong zone, or else it would have been completely negated. Luckily, I slide it over one zone before I, you know, confirm the activation. Always remember where your the impermanences are being played, folks, or else you might just get played yourself. So, gonna add the Widow Anchor because there's not really much else I can add or want to add. I can add Hornet Drones, but that's not gonna do me too good. I guess I could have added Hornet Drones to, like, make Shizuku, and then link the Shizuku and the Blue Slug into Anemone, and then bring back, you know, Seahorse to make a play. But I just don't have a Shizuku. I need to get my hands on a Shizuku, at least for the time being, while I'm trying to play at a TCG legal build. So I had to pass back to him. Lambda, unfortunately, at 17 to my Blue Slug's 15, so I'll swing over to take 200. Luckily for me, he's going to pass it right back, though. And I believe I top decked a Ronin Totem, so I'm just going to set that and hope he can't attack over it, and maybe he'll take 300. But he has a really good rip off the top here, and ends up being a Thunder Dragon Fusion. Going to recycle all of those cards from the Banish Zone back into the deck. Going to summon out none other than the Thunder Dragon Titan himself. So now he's got a pretty, but something coming to, you know, becoming more of an oppressive field at this point. Rather unfortunate. Normal summoning Matrix. Speaking of normal summon, I apologize for the double normal summon misplay that happened the other duel video. I apologize for that. I didn't catch it myself because I was doing that commentary very, very late before I went to an OTS. So I was swinging for another 2K after he attacks over that 2000 defense with Titan. And then swinging for 17 and 3 with Lambda and Link Rebo respectively. But that OTS did not go too well. It was a rather, it was a complete bust. Just really, like, some of the worst luck I've had going into an event. Just really the worst luck that you could, like, ever possibly imagine having. That's what happened to me. But regardless, it was still a fun experience, I guess. I got to hang out with some people and I guess try to play some Yu-Gi-Oh! But it is what it is. So I got to set one, pass it back to him. Not too much Yu-Gi-Oh! To be played here anyways, for me. He has that Thunder Dragon Fusion engraved, which of course has survived the turn in there. Can't called by that. He's going to add the regular Thunder Dragon. I've got called by for that though, in response. So his Titan won't be able to activate to clear other cards. And he won't be able to add, most importantly, 2 other copies of Thunder Dragon from his deck to his hand to be able to, we'll add a Thunder Dragon to pitch, add another Thunder Dragon to possibly clear multiple cards. So he's going to go into battle phase, swinging for 300, swinging for 17, drop me down to 25. And I believe he had life mixed up a bit here, or maybe I do. But I have myself at 25, and he had me at 35. But I'm pretty sure I'd be at 25. And he thinks he needs to do Matrix for game. And I have Widow Anchor, but I don't even think I have enough spells engraved to steal it. It just doesn't make too big of a difference, so I just end up scooping anyways. And yeah, we're going to go right into game 2. And as we do, I want to mention a quick shout out to our sponsor, Imperium Duelist. If you want to pick up some playmats or sleeves like the ones I'm using, check out a link to the website down below, as well as a discount code you can use to save 10% off your entire order. And if you're buying any sealed product or singles on TCG Player, be sure to use my link down in the description below. I'll receive a small portion of the revenue from your purchase if you want to help support me. Just use that link, shop and check out like normal. It requires nothing else of you and help support me in the process. So I greatly appreciate if you guys decide to use that link. And speaking of link, getting started with some actual Marincess plays here. Blue Slug into the Seahorse, Seahorse into Sea Angel to search the field spell, and then Anemone to bring back Seahorse to go into Marbled Rock. And then we're going to use Chainlink 2 Anemone, and then Chainlink 1 Field Spell to add back a Marincess monster. Now, luckily, my plays didn't get completely foiled by that impermanence because I had another copy of Seahorse in my hand. So I didn't really care if I didn't get the add back effect. And I also have to follow it up with a copy of Engage, which is really nice because that's going to allow me to search Widow Anchor to help bolster my field even more. And then he's going to end phase here. Go ahead and use Thunder Dragon Dark to add another copy of Thunder Dragon Dark. Get that in his hand for next turn. Also decked in a little bit. Picks up a copy of D-Shifter for turn, which is completely dead, but the Allure of Darkness I think will take care of that because I believe D-Shifter is a dark. Yeah, so easiest banish of his entire life right then and there. Another copy of Allure of Darkness, so just really digging through his cards right now. Gonna banish Dark to be able to search a Thunder Dragon card. Leave any Thunder Dragon card at this point. But the one thing I've got going for me is a set Widow Anchor. I believe I might also have Wave in hand, and I also have a 4,500 Marbled Rock, which I don't know if he's going to be able to get over, and if he does, I could use its effect to make sure I take no battle damage and my monsters are not destroyed by battle for that attack. So you get started with the Aloof Lupine. I believe a super rare Italian version of Aloof Lupine. Going to banish the, I believe, the Roar to attempt to banish one from deck. I believe this is Aloof Lupine's effect. So yeah, you're going to pick up the deck here to go to banish another one. Perhaps Matrix, perhaps Hawk. We'll see. Contemplating between those two. I believe if Hawk is banished, he gets to recycle some stuff in his hand to sort of mulligan. So I don't know if he'll want to do that. But actually going to use Hawk here. Banish that. And attempting to use Roar, which I believe will special summon one from hand or deck. Actually going to resolve Hawk first, so recycling only one and then going to resolve the Roar here to special summon the Matrix. Okay, so deciding the order of the chain links, how he wanted to resolve that. Now going into a Link 2. Could see some Summer, but going into Cyframe Lord Lambda. And adding another copy of Matrix here. Off the Matrix, since it was sent. So he'll have some cards in hand to be able to make a Titan live. Also has Thunder Dragon Fusion. Just a very exceptional turn here. Recycling Matrix, Roar, Dark, and Hawk. All back to the deck. And just going to try and break my sort of protect the castle field that I've got going on here with Marbled Rock. Sitting at 4,500. Titan only at 32. Even with 2 Matrix boosts, it'll only be 4,200, which is still not enough to get over it. So he's going to set 2 and pass. At the start of my turn, I'm going to use Marbled Rock to add back a Marincess card in my graveyard, and it's going to be another copy of Seahorse. Now, I was debating on whether or not I should normal the Seahorse to link into the Wonder Heart to be able to try and clear some cards, which, you know, in hindsight is probably what I should have done, but I was kind of scared of the back here, and this is my biggest misplay of the entire game, is starting with the Widow Anchor. I should have just gone into battle phase and just held the wave or the Widow Anchor, because it just leads to this really bad position here, where he ends up chaining macro as I believe chain link 4, and I lose 2 cards that, unable to retrieve that wave later with Marbled Rock. So I'm still going to attempt to attack over. It is still boosted by, I believe, 500. So he will take a small amount of damage there. 800, I believe, to be exact, because it will go up to 37. Yeah, so he'll take 800. And I'll pass it back to him with just setting 1. But yeah, I'm still like getting used to playing a somewhat control-based deck. I got to learn to play more reactively instead of just trying to, you know, play cards into their field and have them, you know, make the response there. Because that was just a mistake on my behalf, going for the Widow Anchor off the bat so aggressively. I should have just gone into battle phase and held the Widow and the Marble, or the Wave, because that was just a waste of resources right there. So I believe discarding Roar now, summoning the Dark, and then gonna activate another copy of Thunder Dragon Fusion. Just really productive turn here. Putting back a Titan, has multiple copies in Titan and extra, so just gonna summon out that same one and putting back the other 2 into the deck. Gonna tribute away that Dark, search a Thunder Dragon card, I believe. You're gonna add Duo. Not sure actually how the Dark left the board, but regardless, going for Duo here, summoning that, adding a copy of Matrix, banishing a Lupine, and then discarding Thunder Dragon. I've got Dynamiscus here, which I have to use. And Dynamiscus is going to take care of that Thunder Dragon Titan. He will still get to add a Thunder Dragon to his hand, which isn't too big of a deal, but at least I stop him from popping my field spell or popping my Marbled Rock, which would be pretty bad, because that's the only thing I really got going for me right now. I do have a follow-up for next turn. I do have, I believe, 2 copies of Seahorse in hand, but right now I'm just worried about losing my setup here, because if I do, I'm pretty much going to have to rebuild from scratch, and trying to do that through a Titan or Colossus is going to be very, very difficult. Pretty empty graveyard on his part right now. I've only got an Engage in mine. I still got the field spell, luckily. Looking through my extra deck right now, debating on, you know, is it worth trying to go for Wonder Heart next turn? But it isn't, because all the attached, you know, Marincess Link monsters, they're not going to go to the graveyard. They're going to go to the banish pile, which is very, very unfortunate for me, because then I lose a great bit of my extra deck just to a Macrocosmos, which is really carrying him this game, I must say. Really unfortunate that he saw the macro. So I'm just going to go into battle phase and kill the Dark. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I probably should have cleared the Lambda. I don't know really what's a bigger priority right now. I probably should have cleared the Lambda, because I'm just giving him 2 free zones turn after turn. He's going to start his turn off by pitching the Roar. And that's going to add the Thunder Dragon Fusion. He's going to start off by playing that and recycling the Titan and 2 other copies of, I believe, a Thunder Dragon and a Thunder Dragon Hawk. And then pitching Thunder Dragon. He's going to attempt to make it go through here again, and it will go through. And he's going to pitch another Thunder Dragon. It doesn't matter if they're big banish anyways. He just clears the Marbled Rock and the field spell and swings in. Well, not ready to swing in just yet. We're going to add that last copy of Thunder Dragon from his deck to his hand. And all that stuff sitting over there banished, not doing me an ounce of good right now. Normaling Matrix, and going to tribute that off into a Colossus, and then flip up Storm Dragon's Return, and that is going to be game 100% right there. Unfortunately, I had a bit of a lead there at some point. I just kind of blew it by resolving that Widow Anchor too early. I should have held that in hindsight, and just sort of, again, like I said, playing reactive. It's one of those things when playing a control deck, you kind of got to learn how to do is sort of sit on your stuff and wait for your opponent to make the first move instead of using your really powerful either negations or floodgates in advance to try to, you know, hinder them right off the bat. But then again, they can always respond to that, and it may be beneficial to them. You won't get as much value out of those cards to begin with, much like I did there, unfortunately. But Marincess, as you can see, is still making Thunder Dragon sweat a little bit. I think, of course, the deck will be much better post-cast Impact, and I'm very, very excited to play it once that drops. And, of course, I'll be bringing you guys updates to that as well. Speaking of, not really updates, but other videos coming up, I'm going to be trying to get you guys some of the deck profiles from the Rochester OTS. I know I've been talking about Mr. Michael Wisniewski's Paleozoic deck profile. He actually ended up winning the OTS, so I will be getting those profiles to you guys soon. Hopefully I can get them all next week at locals, but I've been really dealing with some stuff lately. So yeah, hopefully I can get them all next weekend at locals. We have a True Draco deck profile, a Cyber Dragon Orcus deck profile, Paleozoic deck profile, possibly True Draco deck profile, as well as maybe a Sky Striker list too. All top 8 from the OTS. A lot of people from my locals did very well, excluding me. I did absolutely awful. Very bad luck. What can you do? That's Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. But regardless, if you guys enjoyed, check out the links down in the description below to TCG Player and Imperium Duelist. So these guys, hope you enjoyed. Winterkill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.